it's easy to say that. We're going forward now, and Spencer is going to explain in detail plans that we have where we need your help and every member's help, every Wrexham fan's help to take this forward. So please, Spencer's going to speak on that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks everybody for staying for this part of the evening, because this is where the rubber hits the road now. I had prepared two different presentations, one in the eventuality of a no vote, and I'm absolutely delighted that I'm giving the presentation that's in the eventuality of a yes vote, which means we take control of the Racecourse ground, our iconic home for over 150 years. Before I get into the detail, there's a few thank yous I want to do. First off, for the members for supporting the board and voting yes in such a large majority. And secondly, for the work I'm going to present, I want to say a few thank yous to some people who've been involved in where we've developed this to that you'll see this evening. So just want to, I'd like to thank former Trust Chairman Rob Griffiths, last night's match sponsor Colin Williams, Andy Slinger, who helped us with our brand alignment a couple of years ago, Jeff Scott, the commercial manager, and Dave Jones and Paul Smith from the Trust Board, along with me, have worked on starting to think about what could be the next steps. Before I get into it, I'd like you to indulge me for a minute, and what I'd like you to do is turn to the person next to you, okay? So we're going to take 2 minutes. Sorry, can everybody hear me better now? Is that better? Great. Right, what I'd like you to do is indulge me for a minute. I want you to pick a partner, the person next to you, and what I want you to do is, the first person, either of you go first, just take 30 seconds to tell your partner what is your most memorable racecourse moment. Now it could be, you know, Mickey Thomas's goal, it could have been Wes York's goal last night. Then we'll swap over after 30 seconds a minute and the other person share their most memorable moment. So just take a minute, share your moments. Okay guys, if the next person shares their moment now, you've got 30 seconds left. Bring your attention back. Is there anybody, hands up, who'd be willing to share their most memorable racecourse moment?
No.
I'll come to somebody, I'm not going to be dad. Somebody at the back. Somebody at the back.
First lad of mine, I remember I can't remember the year exactly, but one of the early matches that I brought him to, I think he was only about 4, and you'll all remember it. Wales beating England 4-1 at the racecourse. And I remember every time England scored, I nearly threw him out the stand.
Somebody lean against the lights.
Yeah, Richard.
Okay, who else? Somebody at the back. Oh.
Jim Steele's goal against Porto.
Yeah.
Jim Steele's goal against Porto. Right up at the back, Steve.
When we went promotion in 1993, we went to Northampton, came after, and I see the crowd went after.
Yep.
The 77-78 season, when we beat Rotherham 7-1.
Okay. Steve? Arsenal beating Arsenal. Last night's goal.
We played Man United in 1957. We lost the game 5-0. 34,500 here and played against the Busby Babes. That really was an iconic
moment. What memories? What memories this famous old stadium has given us? Wrexham matches, Wales matches, absolutely magic moments that couldn't be bought. They couldn't be bought. So imagine the moments that we've all got to come. Imagine the moments our children's children have got to come, and their children's children, and the ones after that in the process of this 99-year lease. And once again, it's fallen to us, this generation of fans, to sort things out. We're the ones who are going to need to secure the racecourse for that 99 years. We're the ones that are going to have to make it work. And I firmly believe that we can. But there are a number of key issues. The racecourse is another business turnaround for us. If you can remember back to 2011, I'm privileged to have worked with supporters, but a board of directors really capable, a trust board really capable of turning the business round from the losses that we were making into a profit last year. And there's four key issues that we see. Firstly, there isn't enough income coming to the racecourse ground. So the racecourse is not being fully utilised throughout the year and loses money. Okay, so that's issue number one. And I'm going to come to the numbers and the scale of it later in the presentation. Okay, so bear with me. Secondly, the racecourse is an expensive asset. So it holds 10,500. It is an ageing stadium. There's lots of maintenance need doing on it. It means there's lots of steward costs and all sorts of other things that come along with the racecourse ground. And the infrastructure inside it isn't necessarily built to generate maximum revenue from the stadium either, like some modern grounds have been built. The third issue is it is going to take some time to turn around the fortunes of the stadium. Okay, so both Mark and Gavin have shared lots of commercial opportunity and things that we will be pursuing and things that we are going to do, but they aren't going to happen on day one. Things will take time to develop, and I'll share with you a little bit later on how we see that progressing. And the fourth is key issues. What we need to do, that last-minute goal last night really gave us a lift, and I believe this team could go unbeaten to the end of the season, win every game. But that might not be enough. Who knows? But what we need to do is, whatever happens, we need to minimise the impact that taking on the lease of the stadium has on the first team and our quest for success. Okay, so that's the fourth thing. Because the easiest thing for us to do would be to take the money off the first team budget. Yeah, no risk. But doing that, if we do that, what that becomes is a race to the bottom, because you have less crowds, less chance of success, and we want to avoid that at if at all possible. Okay, so that's our plan. So those are the four key issues. So it's us, we, not just the members that we've got here today, but the people in North Wales more broadly, that will need to rescue the racecourse and make sure that it's a viable, vibrant home for us going forwards. We have to get the racecourse generating additional income on non-match day and on match day as well. So what we've done is we've had a look at what some other clubs do to generate income from their stadiums. And I'm going to share some of that with you now. So here's 3 sporting clubs who use their facilities to make income for the stadium and pay the stadium costs. So the top one, the Royal Berkshire Conference Centre. Who the heck is the Royal Berkshire Conference Centre? Anybody know? Reading. Yeah. So they don't call they don't call it the Majeski Stadium. They try and position that asset of the Majeski Stadium so that it appeals to different people on a non-match day. Okay. So that's Reading. Secondly, I'm guessing a few more will know this one. Who's the Keepmoat Stadium? Doncaster Rovers. Yeah. So similar to Reading, you know, if you go and have a look at the Doncaster website, you'll find the Keepmoat Stadium and all of the things that they're doing there to generate revenue for the business. Third one, Langtree Park Stadium. St Helens Rugby League. Yeah. Okay. If I bring that into our division, okay, I found a quote in the Independent. Not that I read highbrow things from the Independent. I actually found it on Twitter and followed it to the Independent newspaper. But Mark Palios, so the chairman of Tranmere Rovers, they've spent about £300,000 on their executive suites and things at Tranmere Rovers, and they were turning over approximately £150,000 per annum on non-match day income at Tranmere Rovers at Prenton Park. They're estimating that that turnover is going to rise to £500,000 by the end of this season. Okay, so that's from our division. So, can we do what these other clubs have managed to do? Can we do it? I think so too. And what I'm going to share with you now is how we're intending to set about doing that. My Racecourse and RC. Okay? This, as you can see here, is the way we're going to be looking to position the racecourse ground to a whole host of different people to fill up the racecourse on a non-match day and to get people into the stadium and spending money on a match day too. Okay? There is a version the other way around, so we've got it in Welsh with English at the bottom as well. Just forgetting about the wording for 1 minute, what do you see when you see the symbol? What is it?
New car.
So it's not the Kellogg's chicken, like you just said. If you can see, it's actually probably the most iconic shape at our ground, the shape of the Mould Road stand. And then you see the centre section, when you go to the stadium for the Dover game, have a look up, and the stanchions at the back. We've captured it so it looks like the tail of Rex as well. So it's there, and it's there to symbolise Wrexham Football Club. So that's how we're going to position it. And what is it? What is My Racecourse? My Racecourse is stadium branding. So if you think there's a football club, we use the racecourse 23 times per season. We will have used it 24 times this season because we got knocked out in the pre-qualifying stage of the FA Cup, unfortunately. And we didn't. I don't think we had an FA Trophy game at home either. So 24 times this season. Hey! Hey! Pick me up on that, didn't you? Right, so, but there's another, if you take 23 times a season, there's another 342 days in the year, okay? So we need to be able to position the racecourse so it appeals to people who may not be football fans who want to use it. And similar to some of the other clubs that we benchmarked earlier. So it's also going to be our engagement strategy and our fundraising vehicle. So it's going to be the plan for how we engage people to generate something that we call breathing space, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But if you think back to your most memorable racecourse moment for a second, think back to what you talked through with your partner. What you described is what My Racecourse means to you. Yeah, we'll all have that personal moment, most memorable thing. That's what it means to you. And when you say My Racecourse, you say my. It's mine. I have ownership. I'm responsible for it. And it means it belongs to us all. So whenever you say My Racecourse, it's going to be yours. So, how could we position it and engage with different sets of people who might want to use the racecourse? So I'm going to start off with as a Wrexham fan, yeah, and all the people in this room. You may fall into some of the other groups as well. But as a Wrexham fan, it's the place where I go to watch my team and create memories with my family and my friends. It's where I go to enjoy a few pints, maybe in the Centenary Club. I have a pie, and then I take my seat in the stand. It's where I book my birthday or my anniversary party. And I know that when I go into the racecourse now, that every penny, every single penny that I spend at the racecourse makes my club stronger. Okay? If you think about My Racecourse as a Wrexham fan, and Peter alluded to this earlier on, we're now in a really privileged position. We're fans, we own our team, we're fans, we effectively now own our stadium, which is the oldest international football stadium anywhere in the world. So we're unique, absolutely unique. So a different set of people, a business leader. What could My Racecourse mean to a business leader? Well, an inspirational place to hold a key meeting rather than going to an identikit hotel. So, you know, many people will have gone to off-site meeting venues with their place of work. Imagine holding it in the altitude suite where you can see 360-degree panoramic view of the racecourse pitch. How much more inspirational is that towards creative thinking and ideas rather than sat in some identikit hotel locally? My Racecourse is the premier conferencing venue in Wrexham and where I host my Christmas party. Yep, so we could turn the racecourse into, there's not many of them, but the premier conferencing facility in Wrexham, and as good as anything in North Wales. Okay, but on top of that, many businesses, because they make their money in the area, it's our labour and our collective effort that helps put money into those businesses. Many businesses want to give back to the local community, and you'll think of many businesses who do. So giving back by booking my meeting at the racecourse, not only am I satisfying all the things that I need from a great venue, but I'm also giving back to the local community as part of what I do. So, to a Wales fan, this one's a little bit more aspirational. It plays to a question, and I'll give the guy a tenner later on, but it plays back to a question that was asked earlier on in the Q&A. Aspirationally, we'd love to see football back in North Wales, but not just Wrexham fans will want to see football back in North Wales. There might be Everton fans who living in Colwyn Bay who don't actually come to the racecourse to watch Wrexham. You know, we'd love to turn their heads and get them to the racecourse, but there are, funnily enough, people like that in North Wales. Okay? But the racecourse could be a place where I can go to see international football without having to travel all the way to Cardiff. Wales always seem to win at the racecourse. We heard about a 4-1 versus England a little bit earlier on. But, you know, I want to see Gareth Bale and some of the other superstars in North Wales. So that's what the racecourse could mean to a Wales fan. To a concert lover. Okay, so I don't like football at all. But I like Kelly Jones of the Stereophonics. Yeah, so the racecourse could be a venue where I can see mega bands on my doorstep without having to travel to Liverpool or Manchester or Birmingham or further afield. Government. So, you know, there's a lot of, you know, I can see quite a few politicians around the room of local and national significance. Okay? What does the My Racecourse or Yng Nghaerasi mean to government, both local and national? Well, the racecourse brings jobs and employment to the area. The racecourse draws people into the town, and they spend their money in the town for the benefit of all. Fundamentally, Wrexham FC is what puts Wrexham on the map. So hopefully you can see the ways in which the racecourse could appeal to a whole different potential set of users, and how we can sort of leverage those insights to develop a plan. So what is the plan? Well, it's got 3 steps. It's pretty simple. And I talked about this breathing space, and I'm going to come back to it in a minute. But first, the first step of the journey is generate breathing space. So what that is buying ourselves time to turn things around. Okay? So it's not all going to happen on day one, and you can picture that really financially as cash flow. Secondly, the second stage is build an offer which fills the racecourse daily. So if we can get that breathing space, we need to build that offer, what the racecourse can do for people 365 days a year to generate income, and build that so people want to come, use the racecourse and use it repeatedly. Okay? And that will be all about building revenue. But that can only be done over time. Okay? So until tonight we weren't even sure whether the vote would go through or not. As you can see, we've been working in the eventuality of a yes vote. But there's a lot of work that we need to do on filling up the racecourse. And thirdly, strengthen the club financially in the long term around profitability and margin. So what is generating breathing space? Well, that means that we quickly need to generate cash to turn the Racecourse Stadium into a sustainable business in its own right, whilst minimising the impact on the first team. And we're going to need the help of the people in this room and Wrexham fans everywhere, as well as some of the other things that I've already mentioned and that Mark and Gavin mentioned earlier on, to help generate that breathing space. There isn't anybody out there who's going to do that for us. We're going to have to do it for ourselves. Let's be clear, the racecourse we do see can be a long-term asset for us. In the short term, though, we need to generate breathing space and time to do it. So what's the challenge? There's been lots of questions about what's the cost, what's the impact, where do we think we'll be? And to be fair, with the knowledge that we've got, Mark's done his best to answer all of those questions. But we're seeing, when you net, you put the two businesses together, we think there'll be somewhere in the region of a £200,000 net impact gap that we've got to cover. Okay, on day one. Okay, we don't have to cover it all on day one. On day one, that's the size of the challenge. Okay? Now, day one, as you can see on the bottom left over there, it is 2016-17 season. Okay? If you follow the red line up, so you can see the gap, from 0 in the middle is no net impact. We're at minus 200,000. If you follow the red line up, as we fill up the racecourse generate more non-match day revenue, generate more match day revenue, then we head towards a vision of 2019 where there is no racecourse gap. Okay? And anything we can generate beyond then, if we can generate beyond then, can help and go towards additional income for the first team manager. Okay, so that's the plan, and that's the gap that we see. We've revised the challenge, so we're saying 200,000 in the first year, and then because the line, we get more income as we go up, that challenge gets smaller year on year. Okay. So we all need to pitch in and help if we're to do this. And the next few slides that I'm going to show you are practical ways and practical things that each and every one of us can do to contribute. Okay? So we're going to leave you with some food for thought about the things that we can do. So the first area is my membership. Okay? You guys in the audience here and other Trestmen, you're our best salespeople. Okay, so we've got about 3,500 members. Or club owners, those are. We're averaging 4,500 to our home games. So we've got, and there'll be a variation of different people who come. So we've got a significant number of people where we could go out and recruit new WST members. Okay? We can move to standing order. So if you pay your £12 per year, okay, if you move to standing order, that helps us understand and gives us certainty of income. Because once people go on to standing order, they don't tend to cancel and they stay with you for much longer. The other thing that you could do is increase your monthly contribution. Okay, and just to put up an example, so we've got roughly 3,500 members. If 2,000 members gave an additional £1 per week, £1 per week, okay, so the price of a Mars bar these days, yeah, and £1 to some people might be a lot of money, but if on average between 2,000 people, if they raise their monthly contribution by £1 per week, that would pay our annual lease fee of £100,000 in one fell swoop. Okay. Secondly, my commitment. Okay, renew. If you're a season ticket holder, I'm praying with everything that I've got that we go up this season. And if you'd seen me celebrate that goal last night, you'd get the picture. But even if we don't, we need people to renew their season tickets for next season. And if you haven't got one, really think about purchasing one. Okay? Secondly, support and promote My Racecourse game versus Braintree on the 23rd. I'm going to come back to that in a minute if I can. And spend £1 more at each home game next season. I'm going to come back to that in 1 second. Non-match day use. Okay? Non-match day use. If you've got a business or you're part of a business talk and your boss is taking taking off-site meetings somewhere, pester people, use the racecourse. Let's help us fill it up. But a couple of things. If we were to last game of the season, even if we're out of the picture, even if we're no longer in the shake-up, I'm praying we are. But if we could commit each of us and bring a few people who don't normally come, or all come at the same time, and we get a 7,000 crowd for that last home game, that puts 40,000 quid there or thereabouts into the coffers to help us with that 200,000 gap next year. 40,000 quid there or thereabouts. Okay, so that's something practical we can do. If each fan net spend of £1 more next season, so we give or take by the end of the season, depending on if we reach the playoffs or not, and you know the size of our crowds of the next couple of games, there or thereabouts, we'll have had 100,000 people through the gates over the course of our 23 games. If everybody spent £1 more when they came into the racecourse, it's 100k, because all that money will be coming to us in future. So if you've got a match day routine and it goes something like, you know, I won't talk pubs in town because it wouldn't be fair, but if I will use one national chain. If you go to Wetherspoons before the game, okay, in town, and then you head to the racecourse, okay, every penny of the profit from Wetherspoons, do you know where it goes? Watford. Okay, it'll be heading its way down to the Wetherspoons headquarters in Watford. If you come to the Centenary Club, or if you come into the 1873 suite in the Mould Road stand, every pound of profit will be contributing towards that £1 additional spend per person to raise an extra £100,000 next season. My donation, okay? Every year we do an early bird discount on a season ticket, okay? So last season, our season ticket prices for an adult in the Mould Road stand, £299 if you bought before the 1st of June. 1st of June, okay? If you bought after the 1st of June, it was £329, a difference of 30 quid. If we got about 2,300 and a few more season ticket holders, if 2,000 season ticket holders decided to donate back, on average, £30 early bird discount. Some people might want to donate more, some people might not be able to afford it and donate less. But if on average people donated 30 quid, so give back, don't wait until after June, because cash flow's key for us over the summer. Still pay it before the 1st of June, but donate that money back. That would yield £60,000 to the club. So, when you add some of those things together, this is before we try and fill up the races, but we need to generate that breathing space, because none of us up here are magicians. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but we've all got full-time jobs as well. Yeah? So we need to generate breathing space. But if you look at this waterfall slide, how you get that rescue My Racecourse target on that right-hand side of 200,000, the £1 per additional, the first of the green bars, £1 per additional match day spent per person 2016-17, 100k. My Racecourse early bird donation, 60k. My Racecourse game versus Braintree, 40k. That gets us to our 200,000 target and gives us the breathing space to do our best to protect our quest for success and to help us turn around the racecourse. And then we've also got further opportunity of membership contribution if people are kind enough to do it. So that's just an example. You may think, I could do one of those, all of those. Some of you might not be able to afford any of those, I don't know. But those are the types of things that we are going to need to give us time to turn the business around. So I'm going to close with a few comments. Us, there's nobody else, there's no white knight out there waiting for us. It's us in this room, and it's the other 4,000 fans who are going to need to turn around the racecourse. Okay? Breathing space will give us the time to do it. We'll work damn hard, I promise. But we need time. We need the breathing space to be able to do it. All of us, that's people in this room, the fans, businesses, will need to help generate that time and space. And then that means working together, we can build a successful football club and secure our home of over 150 years for generations to come.